Okay, welcome to your 14th CSS and HTML tutorial. In this tutorial, we will be covering element, display, and visibility. I have to apologize, I have a slight headache. I got a fever, and I think I'm catching a cold. But I'm going to do this video anyway. Must do this video. Must continue, Jupiter Shane. Anyways, let's continue. There are two properties that affect the visibility of an element on a web page. That is visibility and display. Okay, now visibility can be either hidden or visible, the default property being visible. However, display is a little more general than visibility, where it can be set to block, inline, or none. Okay, now if it is set to none, then the element is not shown, and the space it holds up is removed, right? However, on the other hand, if the element is set, if its property is set to, if its visibility is set to hidden, then the element is not shown, but the space it holds up remains. Let's create two div elements to illustrate this. Okay, let's create the first div, and let's give it an ID. Let's give it an ID of box1. And let's put some text in here. Let's say box1, and let's copy this down one more time, and let's give this an ID here of box2, and let's give it some text box2. Let's give these two div elements some style, and we're gonna say box1 width, let's say 100 pixels, height, let's say 100 pixels as well, and let's give it a background color. Let's give it a background color of green, the usual, and let's give the box, let's just copy this down, and we're going to make a reference to box2, and let's give this a color of blue. Control S to save it. And as you see here, we have these two elements right here. Now the default property of visibility is set to visible, and its default to block. The default display property is set to block. Okay, now to illustrate the difference between visibility hidden and display none, we could go ahead and do this. So let's say we want to hide this box, but we're going to use the visibility property. So we're going to say visibility, let's say visibility hidden. Control S to save it, and let's refresh this. Watch what happens when you refresh this. Okay, the box1, it disappears. However, the space allocated for box1 remains intact. Okay, now to illustrate the difference, let's put in the property of display none. So if we go ahead and we say display, okay, Control S to save, and then watch what happens when we refresh the page. The box1 disappears. Also, the space allocated for box1 disappears as well. Therefore, box2 is pushed higher up on the document. Okay, so that's the difference. That's the main difference between visibility hidden and display none. Okay, now to illustrate display, let's say block, the difference between display block and display inline, we can add some list elements, right? So we're going to say ul, and let's put some li's. We're going to say li, open li, close li, and let's go and put some text right here, and let's just copy this down a couple more times. Okay, alright, and so that's our list element, and let's refresh the page to illustrate this on the web page. Okay, as you can see here, the list element, their default display is block. However, we can change that. We could put their display to inline so that they're showed they are shown horizontally. So let's say let's make a reference to the UL, the list element. So we're going to say UL LI, all right, and within that we're going to say display inline. Control S to save, and let's refresh the browser. As you can see here, they're displayed horizontally inline. So that's the difference between display display inline and display none. I'm sorry, display inline and display block. Okay, and also the difference between visibility hidden, okay, and display none is that if you put in the property of visibility hidden, the element is hidden. However, the space allocated for that element remains intact. And if you put display none, the element is hidden, as well as the space allocated for that property is hidden or removed as well. Okay, so this is our 14th tutorial, element display and visibility. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and ensure that you do subscribe. Thank you.